Let's draw backgrounds using LiDAR to save time by making easy 3D sets instead of using perspective rulers. One thing that I really suck at is drawing backgrounds. I don't suck at it. It's just that I don't like spending the time to do a good job at it. And especially I kind of get myself in this psyched out situation where if I want a background from one angle to line up with every angle, so if it's kind of like one shot where it's head on and then one kind of 3/4 view or something like that, I want it to be consistent. And basically I don't have the time to do that, and that means that I don't end up really drawing a whole lot of backgrounds. But 3D models can really help with that in drawing software. Now, I'm a horrible 3D modeler. It takes me forever to make anything look even half decent. And then the other day, I was on my iPad, and I noticed that on the back of it, it has a little camera that isn't really a camera. It's just a little, discolored spot. Anyway, it turns out that that's a LiDAR detector. Long story short, you don't have to be a 3D modeler to make a 3D model that's good enough to trace over to make backgrounds that make sense no matter what angle you're looking at it from. So that's what this tutorial is about. Other than Clip Studio on the iPad, the app I'm going to be using is called 3D Scanner app. It is free on the App Store, and it has export to textured OBJ functionality, which is what you need. Then you gotta find a room worth scanning. I chose the garage because it's the messiest room in the house, and so nothing to be embarrassed about. Alright, so you just do what I'm doing here. You hit record, and there are little green spots on the screen. And as you can see, the app is using LiDAR to measure and mesh it out. And then the green spots are areas that haven't been measured or textured, and so you just sweep the iPad over the area until it builds a model. Then you hit stop. Then it processes the file and makes your 3D textured model. You can browse in the app, swipe back and forth and zoom in and see, make sure you like it. When you do like it, you can then use the app to share and export it as a .obj file. Save it in the Files app where you're going to be able to find it easily in Clip Studio. You go File, Import 3D Object, and then you scroll, you find where you saved it. It should be a folder with like 1,000 different little tiny pictures, which are the texture information, I believe. But anyway, at the bottom you should find something along the lines of a textured output.obj. Open that up in Clip Studio. It'll take forever, but eventually, even if it crashes a few times, just restart the process and you'll get there. In my experience, it takes at least 2 tries before Clip Studio on the iPad can successfully finish importing the .obj file. And if you get sick of that, it's also really easy just to take the entire file folder, drop it onto your Mac, and then open up your desktop version of Clip Studio, import that 3D OBJ file. Now you'll notice a couple things about my .obj file. First of all, you'll notice that it's not lined up to the floor or the bottom of the the plane, the 3D plane, and you also notice it's very dark. So the first thing that I do is I go and I turn off the shading and the shadow, and that brings the textures back up to full brightness. And the second thing is I anchor it to the grid so that the floor is at the floor. You'll notice that I only did a LiDAR scan of one wall of the garage, and that's intentional. It's because I like to think of my framing and the way that I kind of shoot my comics as on a stage, sort of like in a play. And so I like to have an open thing that you can just kind of look through. You can also do a full 360-degree scan of a room, but I feel like it gets a little bit of a pain to use in Clip Studio then. I need to register it as a material so that you don't have to go through the annoying process of importing the .obj all the time. So in Clip Studio, it's really easy to add materials. You just go to your materials tab and you go save this image as a material, and then there you go. It's saved in whatever folder that you put it in as whatever you named it. And this way you can slowly, compile a bunch of 3D backgrounds. And so it doesn't matter if you're actually in the room, you always have the room with you on your computer, and that's pretty neat. The other really cool thing is that you can drag other 3D models like people into your .obj file, and it's proportional because of course when you're scanning things in LiDAR you're scanning it to scale, And so the people that you build as models are to scale, and you can actually place them in the room in different positions, and their feet will glue to the floor, or you can put them on top of a bookcase or whatever, because the model in Clip Studio treats it like it's real space, which is pretty neat. I think the most important use of this LiDAR tool is that you can create really detailed 3D background models easily. You don't have to be a 3D modeler, and then you can adjust the angle of a shot very easily, and you don't have to worry about perspective rulers or any of that. And then also the background details are the same from shot to shot, and of course, the more time you spend on tracing or using it as a reference anyway, the more accurate your details are from angle to angle. But anyway, I think it's a huge time saver, and it looks pretty good. Another advantage of LiDAR scans of a room is that you can actually get pictures that would be impossible to get because you're looking through the ceiling, or you're looking through a fridge or a wall that normally would exist but doesn't in a LiDAR scan. You might be thinking to yourself, but I don't use software that supports 3D models. Well, that's fine. Then you just open up whatever LiDAR scanning app that you like, you find the scan of the room, you put it to an angle that you want, and then you use your phone's functionality or your iPad's functionality to take a screenshot. And then you import that screenshot into your drawing software, trace over that to be your background. And if you need a different angle, you just take another screenshot in the app from a different angle, and you can draw and make it look good. So if you don't want the hassle of exporting it as an OBJ file, that's another way you can use LiDAR to make backgrounds easily from different perspectives. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give her a like and a subscribe or a share or whatever. I don't even know what social media I'm going to be posting this to, so it might not make sense to like and subscribe, but whatever. Thanks for watching. See you next time.